How's it howlin'? Vin Wolf here, taking on our second Smash character, and I think you guys are going to appreciate this one. Second character, and this is one that a lot of people are going to be pleased with. Isaac from the Golden Sun series. Isaac is definitely a front runner here. He's a massive fan favorite who definitely had a presence in the Smash Ballet. He comes from a game series that has been criminally underrepresented in the Smash Brothers series. And I know the Golden Sun series didn't sell as well as some of the other series that came out for the Game Boy Color, but this could be the chance to revamp it, to bring it back into the spotlight. Pip in Brawl was such a popular character that there was a demand for a new Kid Icarus game, which we ended up getting. And I feel like if we did something with Isaac, who, like Geno, has so much potential for a unique moveset, even as another sword character. I know half the roster is sword characters. Getting back to a concept I touched on earlier, speaking of Isaac, but didn't fully explore, is his presence in the Smash Ballet. We know how influential the Smash Ballet has been, and I feel like Isaac was definitely up there with the ballot results. We don't know for sure because we don't have the results, because frickin' Nintendo safeguards all its information. But still, there were a lot of people hoping for Isaac. Now, he didn't come to pass, but maybe now will be his time in the spotlight. There's also the fact that not too long ago, Sakurai tweeted this image concerning the Rathalos, the new assist trophy / boss that you get to fight in whatever single player or mode or whatever is coming out that includes the boss fights. Now take a look right here. First of all, you have the Rathalos kind of facing the camera. Then you have Shulk, Marth, and Link facing the monster, their backs to the camera. Now look at this image from Golden Sun. They are extremely identical in the way the characters are set up. We know that Papa Sakurai loves to tease and to hint at and ultimately deliver. And I think this could have been one of those teasing moments. Now, having said all that, that's really about it. There's no mention in interviews or anything in the past to suggest that Isaac has been considered in the past or will be considered currently. And I know everyone keeps talking about the gosh darn assist trophy, but the assist trophy was only in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, was removed for the Wii U and 3DS versions of Smash Bros. Now, does that mean they were considering him for the launch of those games? Maybe, but he didn't get in even as DLC. Now, originally, I wasn't going to talk about a moveset for Isaac just because there are so many possibilities, and it just felt like it was almost impossible to narrow it down to just one standard moveset. However, I think I've developed something that stays true mostly to the character first and then the series second. I know some people may have an issue with that, but here's the problem with Isaac. His moveset potential is practically limitless. But for myself, given Isaac's Earth element is what's dominant in the game, or should I be saying Venus element? Either way, I'd say that Earth-based moves are what Sakurai should stay with. It's what's true to the character. So, starting off, his standard B attack, which actually isn't an Earth element thing, is the move synergy. While Isaac has a lot of flashy attacks that we'll get into in a little bit, having the same move he had from his assist trophy days just makes sense. It was constantly needed in the game itself for Golden Sun and could make for good edge guarding if done right. I imagine it working kind of like Mario's Flood, not necessarily dealing a lot of damage, or in the Flood's case, dealing no damage at all, but creating an obstacle for the opponent, and for maybe an extra little addition to the move, instead of dealing a lot of damage, maybe it just has a good amount of knockback. His side B, that would be Isaac using one of his Venus Djinn. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly which Djinn he'd be using, because he's got so many, from Flint to Salt to Geode. I like Geode. Geode was always my personal favorite, but, you know, that's just me. So I think a Venus Djinn attack here would make the most sense for a side B. Which one I wouldn't be able to say, but yeah, there's that. Down B has to be the Ragnarok. Ragnarok would summon a giant flaming sword like it does in the game that falls tip first until it pierces the ground, knocking back anyone in its way. Up B, escape. In the game Golden Sun, whenever you wanted to just leave a dungeon early, like in the Pokemon games using an escape rope, in Golden Sun you had the synergy move escape. Basically, in the game, and I'll throw a thing up here, the character is covered in little glowing orbs of light, or I guess bubbles as some would call it, and then he just whisked away into the beginning of the dungeon. And I imagine it working pretty similar in Smash. Isaac would be obscured by colorful orbs that scatter and reconverge at the location he teleports to. And anyone that gets caught up in the way of the bubbles would get damage and be thrown back a bit. Finally, the big one, Odyssey, the final Smash. Odyssey is very similar to Ragnarok, but it's like Ragnarok on steroids. Odyssey, as a final Smash, would cleave the stage, or at least a portion of it depending on the size of the sword, doing colossal amounts of damage to all it contacts and sending those fighters off screen. On a final note, I just want to take a moment to recognize that there's all other kinds of movesets that would represent the game as a whole much better. Like I said earlier, I picked this moveset because I felt like it represented Isaac the character better. If you wanted to represent the entire game as a whole instead of just Isaac, because if we're being honest with ourselves, this is probably the most representation Golden Sun will ever get outside of its own series. So as an example, to represent it as a whole, using a different Jin type for each attack, and then using all four for a Final Smash in like an elemental burst kind of way, would be something that would be really cool. For example, your standard B attack would be a Venus or Earth Jin. Then you have your side B for Mercury, down B for Mars, and your up B recovery would definitely be Jupiter, the Wind. Another one that I saw that I thought was actually kind of interesting was using the Jin like Shulk. You hold the B to select a different Jin type, and then all your attacks and stats are affected by the Jin you've selected. For example, if you had the Earth Jin, if you had the Earth Jin, Venus, as your set Jin at the time, then you would be very defense heavy, you'd be a very heavy weighted character. If you wanted to use the Wind or Jupiter Jin, then you would have a really strong aerial game, your jumps would be better, your recovery would be phenomenal, you'd be lighter and faster, so on and so forth. Bottom line, when it comes to a Golden Sun representative, you've got options. You've got a lot of options, and it makes for very interesting ideas and gameplay mechanics. Given that the Smash Ballot seems to be the core element in character choices, I'm giving Isaac only a 75% chance. I am confident he's getting in, but how prominently he was actually in the Smash Ballot is a whole nother matter that we just can't answer. And I could also see Sakurai passing him up for another ballot contender that's a little bit more well known to the general public, given how Golden Sun has kind of faded into obscurity by this point. So that's my take on Isaac. I think he's got a chance, and I think his chances are good, but we're going to have to wait and see. There's rumors of Smash Directs coming up early September, so maybe we'll get our answer sooner than we think. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this was informative. I hope this answered some questions anyone may have had concerning Isaac, and I hope, as a final hope, that you tune in next time, because I've got another character video already in. He's about halfway finished by the time I'm recording this section. To close out the Isaac video, I've got a whole nother list of characters and other topics and ideas outside of Smash, even just general things I want to tackle and look into. So, sorry, I know I'm looking down. I'm petting my pupper, and my pupper is cute. Let me flash a picture of my pupper. Don't take that out of context. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video, but until then, stay blessed, everyone. Hey, geez, you are just needy today. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.